Hey everybody, I'm Jim, and today's video is a little bit different because I typically just talk about guitar stuff. I don't talk about personal stuff. I don't talk about politics. I try to just keep things lighthearted, keep you guys entertained as much as I possibly can. But this marks 5 years. If you told me 5 years ago I would have been able to make it this far without drinking, I would have said you were absolutely crazy because it was such a major part of my life. Like, just going to gigs, to get in the car, to get to a gig, I need to have a few beers. Now, I hate admitting this, but this is the God honest truth. To get to my actual wedding, which is at the most beautiful location on the cliffs, Sunset Cliffs in San Diego, California, my best man came to pick me up. I was so nervous. I think I had 5 or 6 Speedway stouts. If you know anything about Southern California beer, you know Speedway stout. It's a really strong drink, but that's just how I lived. And in order to do basic things, I had to have a drink first. To go to SeaWorld with my family, I needed to have a drink. I needed to be able to make sure I could have a drink at the place, or if I couldn't, I made sure that, I would take care of it in advance. But I'm just here to tell you about a few things that have changed in that 5 years. The first was obviously my appearance, and this will be, if you go through a similar thing that I did, one thing you'll absolutely notice, I look so much different. I look so much younger. I was just bloated. I had no energy all the time. I was constantly fighting just the hangover symptoms, and the only way to fix those, especially when you're that deep into it, you open up a drink. It doesn't matter if it's 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. and obviously everywhere in between there, right? So the other thing I've really noticed is just how differently I see and what I value in life more. It felt like when I was drinking to be able to escape things so that I could then do things. As I mentioned before, the wedding stuff and then going to play gigs and stuff like that. And I really probably didn't get nearly the same experiences. No, I definitely didn't get the same experiences that I did get from those amazing times in my life because I don't remember it as vividly as I do now. Now, whenever something important happens, I can tell you every single detail of it. I'm there, I'm present in the moment, and it's an amazing thing. And as musicians, tying it back into what we typically talk about here, um, being able to feel that, especially if you're a performer, is huge. And to think of some of the great venues that I got to play that I was either, tipsy, half drunk, or in some really bad cases, shouldn't have been on the stage to begin with. Like, those were incredible opportunities. And that's not to say every gig was a bad gig or every gig I don't remember. I, was very functional alcoholic. So I was able to get up there, nail what I needed to nail. Nobody noticed because when you're a functioning alcoholic, people just think, oh yeah, he's just having a few beers. He's calming down. He's having a good time. And obviously his performance, both at work, with relationships in some cases, and then going out and playing guitar, not really suffering for it. But you do get to a point, and it's the best choice you can ever make. If you're somebody who wants to know, like, what is on the other side, I do have some bad news that I'll get to first before I get to the overwhelming good news. And the first is there are still times to think about it. Just last week, I desperately just wanted to go and have a drink. And I was about 25 feet away from a bar and waiting for the car to get fixed. And I just thought, just one drink doesn't go away. But what does get easier is your ability to just tell your brain to shut up and really think about all that you've gained. And that's the most important thing. So I just have so much more energy. I feel like I'm a much better person because drinking for me put me in a bad place, made me a bad person. I genuinely believe that. And I'm so grateful I did not start uploading videos when I was drinking, and I waited until after I got sober to do so because, man, it would have been ugly. It would have been really ugly, and I know exactly how I was at times. And it's tough to look back and reflect on that, but at the same time, like, it's important to. It's really important to because that's more assurance that you're going to need that you're making the right choice for yourself. And I'm not advocating that nobody drinks ever again. I mean, there's certainly people that can handle things, but I have a really addictive personality. I have bad anxiety issues as it is, and that's the main reason I was fallen into the trap of becoming an alcoholic to begin with, was to fight off the anxiety and take the edge off, as I used to claim. But I promise, if you see this and you're somebody who's quitting or wants to quit or doesn't know how to quit or knows you should quit, it's worth it. Things don't get easy. In fact, some things get even harder because you have to basically train yourself to learn how to live again like a normal human being. And I'm still working on that. And depending on how deep you are in the hole and how many years, or in some cases decades, you were into being an alcoholic, it makes it a little bit harder. But I just wanted to share this today. I'm not looking for any sympathy. I'm doing just fine. This is important to me because maybe if I could help one person, this is worth posting. And that's how I kind of look at it, like that. So, yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this day here. Very off topic, I'm aware, but it's important to me because I'm really proud of myself. That's all. We'll be back to guitar stuff momentarily. Thank you guys if you made it this far into the video. And if, any of you are ever struggling, you can always feel free to reach out via email or stuff like that, especially as musicians. Believe me, I knew a lot of people that were far worse than me. I knew a lot of people, unfortunately, that didn't make it, some of which were younger than I am now. I'm 41 years old, and it's been a few years since they passed away. So I'd hate to hear more people fall into that and get to that level. And yeah, more serious than normal. I know, but that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you.